Hey, g'day, I'm Matrenn and welcome to another Let's Play. In this Let's Play, we're actually going to look at Eco. It is a game that I've definitely been playing in the last couple of weeks and got a little bit addictive to, so probably a little bit overdue on this Let's Play. And we're going to start from scratch, but I do think I'm going to do some more expansive videos on this one, showing the more advanced stuff within Eco itself. So what is Eco? So Eco is a fully simulated ecosystem MMO with thousands of growing plants and animals. You can build, you can harvest, you can take the resources from the environment, but every action has a reaction. You want to harvest all the trees, the planet will start to warm up, and so let's jump into it. Okay, so for this one here, we're actually going to do a new game, just so we can actually start off. So let's go with a YouTube world, and we will jump straight. What? I wish I could spell. Now, what we've actually got here is you've got a couple of. We want to generate a new one. We've got a skill points on crafting. So one of the benefits is you can actually acquire skill points through the work that you're doing. So that's not a bad one as well. So we'll do that, and let's start. And here we are. So welcome to our new world. To start off with, you can actually set your characters. You can see that your character is wearing very earthy colours. You can change the shade of his skin, the colour, his hairstyle and facial hair if you want to give him a bit of a beard, so we can go in that. Your eye colours and your clothing. Now with your clothing you can stick with your colours, or the other one which I really like about this is you can hit the dropper and then go around the earth around you to pick the colour that you want. It's all going on very earthy colours, but there you go. It's a nice way to actually do the drop, I think. Hit the save and we're ready to enter the world. So here you are. By hitting M, you can actually see the entire world, or your world that you're on. So I've just picked a single player world just to do this this video, and the easiest way is to actually just go through the tutorial. Now the tutorial, as much as you can skip the tutorial will give you your starting crafting weapons, such as your axe, your hammer, your spade or your shovel. So don't skip the tutorial. It will definitely help you get through. So the first one is just literally finding, pressing tab and then pressing tab again so you can move around. So you can do your WASD and space to jump so you can get up. Complete that task and the next tutorial will come up. So as we said before, we do have a meteor coming, and you can't always find the meteor. But if you can't see it at this stage, don't fret. You will definitely see it at a later time. The next one is the world view, as we said before. So you press the M to actually open your map, and you can find your icon on the map. To actually find you. So when you bring up the map, if you can't find yourself, just move and it will actually focus over to yourself, and then you can hover over it. On the side panel, as it says there, you've actually got a drop down to actually look at different layers. So therefore, when you're looking at things like you want to find some beans, you can see that there's actually some natural spawning beans over here. Now this is where there's beans or beets in the current area. So if I walk straight ahead, I should see some beets, and that will be good for food. So let's go have a look at this. Now the other one is if you decide to become a farmer as a trade, it's a little bit different, and I'll show you that when I find the beets. There we go. So here we go, we got some beets and we can pick up the beets, which has actually opened up another little trade, another little one itself. But going back to the map, I just want to sort of do something. So to start off with, we found the beets, and when we focus in, we can see that this area is purple because there will be beets in this area. The other one, if you decide to become a farmer, if you scroll down, you've got yield potential, which is different to beets. So you can scroll up to beets yield potential, and it will show you around the world where the best place is to plant your beet seeds in order to get the best output. Now, I learnt from mistake on this one, so I think it's a great little tip. So it doesn't mean you need to place your house there, but it just depends what you want to do as a profession, and we'll talk about professions a little bit later on. So keep going with the actual tutorial itself. Drop a waypoint in the side panel to mark your position. So what they're saying is just literally hit your waypoint. I'm just going to close this back to none, and you can see your dot there. It does mean that in the world you'll start getting these little coordinates, 3.6 meters. Press the tab again, hover over, right click, and you can remove that waypoint from the world. So that's an easy one. I think eating food is fairly simple, but as it's sort of saying here is they want you to actually mouse over and eat certain foods. So you want to eat foods. The great thing, or one thing that I do like about this game, is the food and the housing. So in the left hand, in the bottom left hand corner, you've got a little bread picture, and it's telling you about your nutrition. In this case here, my nutrition is broken up evenly balanced between carbs, protein, fat, and vitamins. What they are saying is you need to keep that as a healthy balance. So you need to eat food that has the carbs, all the protein, the fat, and the vitamins. Some of them are obvious, like your fish, is going to have a lot of protein. If you're eating things like bison or meats, it's going to have a bit of fat. Breads, rice is going to have your carbohydrates, and your corn, your beets and that are going to have your vitamins, such as your vegetables. If I eat by right-clicking, you can see that ate the beets, 230 calories, and nutrition now provides 22 skill points. If you hover over it, it tells you what it actually is. So for a beet, not only is it high in vitamins that we guessed before, but it's also high in carbohydrates. If I go back and look at my balance modifier again, you can see that I'm now not as balanced as I was before. So in early game, you don't have to worry about it too much, but you still want to make sure you try and keep a healthy balance. So you can see there that I'm higher on the carbs and the vitamins, and I need some fat and protein. The easiest way in early game to get some fat and protein is killing a small animal like a turtle or a hare, because they're easy to get. Or if I'm close to water, which I am here, I should be able to. Yes, I can. So you press the control, and this will allow you to go down. And then you can actually pick up raw fish. So I'm just holding the control button at the same time as pressing E when you can see the glowing point. This will allow me to get some raw fish. So let's go back on the land where it's not so blurry. Press the tab, hover over the raw fish, and as you can see, that will give me protein and fat and 200 calories. So if I right click and eat this, yes, I've increased by 200 calories, and it now provides, I've gone down a little bit, and let's see why. Okay, so we've gone down because the fat content of that fish has blown out my balance multiplier. So the balance multiplier is one of the factors that will have a major impact on how many skills you get each day. So food is definitely important. The next one is housing, but we haven't created a house yet, but we'll see how we go. So with housing is the same. And I like that. So by decorating a house, by putting nice things in your house, you will actually improve the multiplier and therefore get more skill points per day. So it's very much skill driven. If you just want to eat basic stuff and you want to have sort of a shack as a house, then it's going to be a very slow grind to make some progress in the game. All right, let's go in the next one. So we can see here we've got some wheat, we've got a little cumbus there, so we've got plenty of food here, and we've got some corn, so we're just going to take this corn. I can't take the wheat because you actually need a sickle to pick up the wheat, but you can pick up the corn with your hands, so we're just going to get this so we've got a little bit of food. And let's go find a place to call home. So once again, you can bring up your map and you can have a look at your environment. Basically, depending on what profession you want to do. But we're going to find here, we've got an area that's got a few trees and some water. We've got an area in the mountain here. On the other side of the world, we've got a big desert, lots of mountains, and sort of some rocks here. But you know what, we're not going to travel around the world too much. We're probably just going to walk up around here and call our place home, very close to where we are now. Well, grab some more beets. I think this is a good enough place to start and call home right here. So the way we do this, in this case here, you go to press B to open up your bag, and you'll see your property claim. So open up your property claim and just drop it. In this case here, it just swaps. Now at this stage in the game, I haven't seen that you can shift click, or if you right click you eat it, so you have to be careful there, but you can't click and bring it across. You need to actually drag. They may change that in the future. Press 1 will open up your flag, and you'll see that you actually have a shadowing over your area, and you can actually just drop your property claim. So the post does not remain there, so don't worry about the post. And you can drop, let's say, a little 4x4, so that's more than enough to start off with. And you just simply press another number and that will get rid of that. Now, what it has in the 6th slot below, you can see now that I've got a deed. I can right click on the deed and set access. So if I've got friends playing, I can actually add them. But you can do other things as well. So in this case, it's for myself. I can choose my color. So if I want a different color, and what that will mean is when I do the property claim flag, everything is now purple. And if I'm looking at the map, you can now see that the area is purple. When you jump in an environment with many, many other players, you'll just see all these deeds and titles that people have as they've claimed the land, much like sort of other games itself. Now what the title does mean is it means that people cannot touch, grab, or do anything within that title. So if you're trying to even shoot an animal and that animal runs onto a title, you can no longer fire an arrow into that animal either. So just be mindful of that. The next things, we've got a couple of things. We've got digging, mining, and chopping down a tree. So let's go for chopping down a tree. By clicking on that, it's now giving you a free axe. Chopping down the tree, I guess, would be fairly simple. So let's just try not to overcomplicate this. Pick up a few tomatoes at the same time. Nice little starting area because we've got plenty of fruit and veg. And let's chop down the tree. As you can see in the bottom left-hand corner, the more you chop, the more you will burn calories. Okay, so by chopping the tree down, you get a couple of things. You get a stump, yes? You get a heap of wood pulp, and you get your main part of the tree itself. Now, obviously you can't take this entire log, so you need to chop it again into smaller, manageable bits, which is just a nice little way. and then you can take it away to your area. So let's pick up those. You just do E to pick up, but you're limited to pick up 20. We're in lots of 20, and if it's too big, you can chop it again. No, it's going to... I'll show you something as well as we're trying to cut this down, but what it will actually do is when you... Here we go, a couple of smaller bits, and then you can pick up basically about 20 logs. Your area is here. You can always just prick your property flag to see where your area is, and then by right clicking you can stack these on the ground. So right clicking was E, so having the axe in your hand, right clicking, you can actually stack your wood. Now, as much as in early games this is a handy way to collect your wood, it's not the most proficient way of stacking your items, and we'll show you that in a second. So let's go back and look at where we're processing the logs. So the first thing they're saying is they've given you a workbench, and the only way you can get the workbench is by doing the tutorial or getting someone to make it for you. So let's grab the workbench and throw it down in one of the slots, and we're going to place the workbench within our area, and we can just place it next to these logs. So nice and simply open up the workbench, and the item they're talking about is the hewn logs. So you're actually taking your raw logs and you're going to take them into hewn logs or processed logs. So let's make a few of those. You can definitely make, we're just going to make 2 to start off with, and there is a reason for that. Now at the moment you've actually got no logs, because you need to take the logs that you've cut. So collect E and right click on the bench, put the logs into the workbench. Now that obviously isn't very productive, so to speak, so we will actually do another method of tidying that up a little bit. Going nighttime. I don't know what it is, but I always seem to play games and it turns into night where I'm filming. So while it's night, we're going to just collect a little bit more wood from our pile. Bit glitchy, it doesn't say, there we go, now we can get a green. So when it's yellow you can't physically pick it up. When it's green it means you can. Okay, let's grab the rest of this. We've got our 20 logs, let's head back and just drop them here for the time being. Okay, so now let's collect our hewn logs as it says there. And you just hit the collect button and it will automatically drop it. Now for the hewn logs, is much like the other logs, you need to have them in the hand. You can't, they won't actually go into your bags themselves. So the next thing we have is actually, we've got a couple now. We've still got digging, mining, building a house, and choose a role. So we'll take these hewn logs and we're just going to drop the hewn logs in a pile. As we said, as much as that's handy, it's not efficient. So what I would suggest now at this stage, before progressing too much further, is open up your workbench again by pressing E, move down and you'll see stockpile. So I recommend that you order a stockpile, and once again you're going to need to put some logs in the stockpile. So pick up some logs and right click there. The next thing I would say is have a look down and you will see, maybe scrolling up, you will see storage chests, but storage chests will requires basic crafting 1, which comes in line with choosing your roles. So let's hover choosing your roles. So open up the skill menu, which is in the bottom left hand corner, and you start off with 10 points. You have a choice of professions. The professions ranging from survivalist, carpenter, chef, engineer, farmer, hunter, mason, smith and tailor. Now depending on the feedback from the video, I'm thinking what I may do is another video which would just specialise on certain professions. So just before I go, and if the timing's right, there is your meteorite right in front of you, so you can hover over that, and the impact of the meteorite is 29 days before it hits the planet. So that will go there. So going back to the professions, got a little bit diverted. So in this case, the survivalist is a profession, and you normally start with it. So we wanted to start off with the survivalist. You've got the basic crafting. If you hover over here, it will tell you that you can do the basic storage chest. So we do want this, so we're going to spend 1 point on this. The next thing which I would recommend is over here, you've got strong back, and this will allow you to carry an extra amount of weight. You probably don't need it, but what it does open is it does open big stomach, which allows you to hold more calories, and they're two good things that I actually find is quite useful. So I'm actually going to do strong back, and then I'm actually going to do big stomach, which will allow me just to have another 500 calories, and it will definitely help. Because at this game I'm going to do a bit of carpentry, I'm going to start off with carpentry, and in this episode I'm going to start off with hewing, which will allow me to make those logs for my log cabin a lot more easier. So under carpentry I've got hewing, logging, lumber, paper mill and wood construction. These bottom 3 are not researched, in line with a number of other things that are also not researched as well. The way you actually research them is through a research bench, and we'll cover that in another video. So let's take the carpentry, and I'm going to click on hewing, and I'm going to use 1 point to actually get some efficiency in making my hewing. The next one I want to do is pick my chef, and I'm actually going to do campfire, because I do want to do some basic campfire recipes, because cooked food gives you far more nutrition and benefits to just eating raw. So we will do, because it was 1 point, and we just want to have a look. So you can see there the level 2 will give you charred corn and charred tomato. It's something I'm eating now, so I can pick up corn and tomato, so we're going to do that. And the other one I'd recommend is actually looking at your efficiency. So I don't do the speed as say, so the first one is the type of ingredients and the type of things that will cook. The second thing is the efficiency, so the amount of, let's say, corn it takes to make 1 charred corn. And the third one is the speed. So my recommendation would be in the early game, save your speed, or save your points on your speed, but definitely look at your efficiency, because it will definitely help. I mean, to start off with, I think it's collect 4 beets to make 1 beet. Obviously changing the efficiency will just make it easier and more efficient, that you don't have to collect as many raw ingredients to make your end ingredient or your end cooking. Okay, so we're going along. We've got a couple more now, but I'm just having a look at the time. We're getting into around about the 20-minute mark, and I do want to try and keep these the short videos. So the next ones we've got is digging, mining, building a log house, and planning research. I'm just going to go over the screen just to finish up, and then depending on the feedback, then I'll actually do more my videos on Eco itself. As I said, I do play the game. I do have a server. You're more than welcome to join the server, and I'll show you the server at the end of the game. So, last couple of things. We've already covered the nutritional value on the left-hand side, which you can actually see, which breaks it down, as you said, the carb, the protein, the fats, and the vitamins. The skill points we've covered, and then the last thing is actually your house value, but we don't have a house, so we're not carrying any value. We've got our quick bar links, or your quick links down the bottom, and by pressing B, we can open up our backpack, which will have the last of our items. You can literally click this, and that will put you into third person mode, depending what you prefer to play in. Some things you can do in third person, some things you can't. I would take the state of planting a peg. As much as you can plant a peg, you cannot see your colours, but if I take it out of third person, you can now see the colours of your mat. So you may need to switch, if you like playing in third person, you may need to switch at times from third person back to first person, depending what you enjoy doing. Next thing you've got in the bottom right hand corner is you've got C for chat. Obviously a little bit hard to press to chat when you're the only person on the planet, but in the chat you can actually turn off what you don't want to see popping up in the chat. O will tell you all the people that are on the server. As you can see, it is just me. L is interesting. You can create laws, and we'll talk a little bit laws a little bit later on, and I just need to sort of get them working. I've tried to do laws on another server and was struggling a little bit to get the laws working. B was for the backpack. Y is for currencies, and I will do a separate video based on the feedback on currencies, minting, transactions, and tax. So I think that's quite an advanced one, but it's quite, if once you're having your own server or playing on a server, it is an important one. We'll also talk about the for sale and the wanted and how to place a contract. And the last thing we have is G, which what G does is it goes to a website to allow friends or other people that aren't playing a game to actually see the status of your planet. You can actually see the status of how it's warming, the environmental effect, the pollutions, the air pollution, the ground pollution, what species are dying off, and that's where you can enact laws. So you can enact laws to protect certain species, to don't log in a certain area, don't fish in a certain area. So it's really quite an advanced game in that stage. And the map, which is the M, which we have before. So I'm going to finish it up there, guys. Thank you very much. I hope you've enjoyed this quick tutorial on, or it's a Let's Play tutorial on Eco. It's a game that I am enjoying. As I said, I do have my own server. So if anyone would like to join, you are more than welcome. It is literally Matrenn live stream, all is welcome. So feel free to jump in, come and join me, and yeah, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit the likes, leave the comments in there. So depending on the comments and the feedback we get from here, I will continue making videos. I think when I've had a look, there's a lot of opportunity to make some advanced videos on Eco, and I'd really enjoy doing it. So leave your feedback if there's something you want help on. Yeah, let us know, and we'll see you in the next video. Thank you. Have fun, good gaming, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.